Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining in from. You're welcome to Shexel Live. All right, so Shexel Live is a forum where we come your way with amazing insight into our templates, and then we show you how to customize templates, right? So today we have an interesting episode. Today we're going to look at an amazing template that was brought to us by one of our users, and he actually wants us to adapt it to our HSE Performance Monitoring Tool. So if you have been following us, we've been performing customizations on our template, and that actually gives a lot of insight to those of you who want to actually do it yourself. And that is actually the essence of this forum, so that we can share knowledge, we can share the insights, so you can actually customize some of these templates yourself, right? So today we are going to look at something very, very interesting. Okay, so without wasting time, I'll just share my screen. If you're joining us for the first time, you're welcome to Shexel Live. My name is Sil. I'm a health and safety practitioner and the founder of Shexel. I specialize in developing spreadsheet solutions using Microsoft Excel. All right, so today we're going to look at something very, very interesting, right? So we're going to review a template that is being used by one of, someone who has taken interest in how our template is structured. And then we're going to look at how we can actually adapt our template to his. So let me just try to switch my screen. Hold on. Okay. Okay, all right. So if you're following us, kindly, stay with us. We have something very interesting to share. So yesterday you all saw the HSE Performance Monitoring Tool, how it has been structured, and the fact that it has a lot of amazing features, right? We have the objectives and target that are based on, a well-structured format where you can have insights into whether you are achieving your objectives, and we have all these dashboards with a progress charts, on various dashboards, and the fact that there are various reports within the workbook, right? So I'll probably try to share what we are coming to do before we review the template that we'll kind of work on. This is basically what we're coming to do. We're gonna, try to replicate something like this. And this is actually very, very insightful because we have, the objectives, which is the fact that we are improving control of work. So we are looking at all the KPIs that we use to improve control of work, improve behavior-based safety. We are looking at all the KPIs that support that, right? So this is basically how our template has been structured, and we have the target, we have the actual, so you're able to actually know whether you are performing simply by using these timelines. So once everything turns into green, that means that you've actually achieved your target, right? You're able to capture multiple sites. So there's actually room to capture multiple sites. There's room to capture a lot of data, right? Because there's room to build a continuous database, and for that reason we can do a lot of analysis across multiple timeline. There's a statistics and everything. So yesterday we did that for one of our users. We used 2 days to do this. All right, so we were able to adapt the template to this. Now we have another user. This dashboard actually gives you a lot of insight, so you can actually know that, okay, this month and this, you can be, as you are building a database, all of this will be taking shape till the end of the year. Then you're going to know that, okay, I've been able to achieve all my KPIs, right? So this is a target KPI. And there are a lot of other dashboards, basically a lot of dashboards within this workbook. And the interesting thing is the fact that, every KPI has the target and then the actual. So you're comparing target actual against the target, and that also gives a lot of insight. So we are giving you room to, visualize all your KPIs, not only the dashboard, but you have this as well. So now let's go back to the template that the other guy is using, right? So this is the template he's using. Now there's an interesting thing here. So we have all of these KPIs. There are quite a lot of them, right? And then he's trying to, basically gather data, for this very site. This is a summary. So there are various sites, right? Various sites where we are building the data, right? So there's the HR or another location on another sheet. There's another location on another sheet and the same set of KPIs. So it makes this very cumbersome. So there's no opportunity to really do analysis, but they've managed to create a summary of all the sheets within the workbook. And even with that, you see that the quarter, there's planned, actual against planned, actual against planned, actual against planned. And actually, this is not, very, very smooth. If you're comparing this to our template, this is not smooth, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to transfer this, we're going to restructure this, this very report and make it something that you can build a continuous database so that you can have a lot of other insightful reports. And the fact is that you can be able to, go across multiple timelines, which means that you can build database for 2025, you can go on to 2026, 2027, for as long as you want to keep building your database. This one does not allow that. What this one does is that after 2025, you need to put this whole workbook somewhere, create another copy, and then you keep using it. You then put it somewhere. The following year, you do another one. So the data is kind of like spread out on various workbooks, and it doesn't, bring so much insight. So without wasting time, I'm just going to go straight onto this very template we're coming to use. Okay, so basically, let me just reduce the volume. Maybe it's making too much. I'm not too sure whether it's making noise yet, but let me just reduce it a little. Okay, so basically, I've taken some insight into the data, and that's what I see, regarding the lagging indicators, because there's some lagging indicators in there. And these lagging indicators, we are trying to, basically account for incidents that are happening to the client and then the contractor, for fatality. Same with lost time injury, the client and the contractor, the client and the contractor. So the user is trying to analyze the incident based on client and contractor. At the same time, we're also trying to make sure that we are accounting for all of these leading indicators, right? So there's a total of about, let's say 25, 30, I don't know. It's quite a lot, right? So we're going to go back to our template and we start to customize it, right? Where you are. Okay. So we are coming to adapt this sheet to our template, and it's going to take some time. There's not a job order that it is done within just a couple of hours. So we just go as far as we can, possibly just an hour, and then tomorrow continue with the rest. Okay. So just like our template, we're going to make sure that we are doing something we call, okay, so there's not a replacement in kind. Like I did mention, if you're talking about replacement in kind, it means that all the KPIs that hold on. If you're talking about replacement in kind, that means that we are changing the terminologies for each of the KPIs. Okay, hopefully I'm sharing my screen. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. All right, so we are back. So I'll just open this template. This is what we're going to use. Okay, so without wasting time, let's get right into it. So when it comes to our template, we have the password in here, which we're going to pick right away. So I'll just grab it now. Okay, so once I have the password, I could just open it now. I'll just do Control-C to copy, and I'll go ahead to unprotect, the relevant sheet that we're going to work on. Okay. Okay, so what it means is that we're going to change the actual source data, the structure of the table. We would have to revise the monthly reports. The statistics, we're definitely going to revise that. We're going to work on the trend analysis, the trend dashboard, and then we need to unprotect the workbook. So these are the main protected worksheets within the workbook. Okay. So what we're going to do is that I'm just going to make sure that my other sheets, which I have, Okay, hold on, not this one. This very one. Okay, so basically the information that has been presented in the other template, I've just brought it here. I've summarized it to see how that can fit into our model. So we're going to input all these lagging indicators into ours and the leading indicators into ours, right? So the leading indicators, you're looking at, accounting for, improving training. So we are using, safety meeting, hazard awareness, take 5 training, and all of that. So let me just try and open the other one. Okay, so these are the leading indicators, and it kind of fits our model, right? So if you're looking at our objectives and targets, we have something similar. We have the objectives right here, and we have the KPIs that support it, right? So this section fits our model, except the fact that they are not replacement in kind. So what it means is that, a lot of them are not replacement in kind. So we probably have to change most of the KPIs, but that's not a big deal. That's exactly why we're here. There's a full customization that we're coming to do. We are already 11 minutes into our time. Hopefully we don't spend too much time. We're going to just use an hour to do for this part, and tomorrow we're going to continue. Okay, so this is basically the data that we have extracted. So without wasting time, I would now have to get into the main work. Okay, all right, so we are coming to input some lagging indicators, and what I have to do now is that I need to insert a lot of columns. Okay, I need to insert a lot to accommodate all the KPIs. Then I'll look at which one should I delete, because I need to make sure that I'm accounting for all of them. Whatever error that comes up, that is not a big deal. We're going to correct it, right? Okay, so we have a lot of columns inserted in there. So I'll just go to the other sheet. In fact, it's better I bring that sheet into this workbook because I don't want to be moving across sheets. So let me just do that right now. If I want to move that, I could just click on move and go to the other template, and I make sure that I move it in there, right? Let's create a copy. So I'll just move it in here to make it simple for me, and then I can close the other one. Okay, so basically we're going to look at the leading indicators. We're going to take it one at a time. So I'll just drag this here. Okay, so the lagging indicators, we're going to account for the fatalities first, right? That's how he mentioned this. It's like this. Okay, so fatality for WhatsApp, fatality contractor, right? And then we need to make sure that we are introducing a total to account for both of them, but we're just going to take it one at a time, right? So I'll just keep going, not wasting time too much. Okay, once I'm done, I'm going to make sure that I work on the format. The formatting is not very important at this stage. Just want to make sure that I'm capturing all the relevant KPIs to make sure I'm not missing anything. At the same time, I don't want to delete a set of lag indicators yet, because there are some that may be similar, and I may probably just retain them and then see which ones I can delete. Okay, so whenever we are coming out, we are trying to customize templates. The most important thing is the structure of the template, right? Because once we get a structure wrong, it means that we're going to struggle in creating all the reports and everything, right? Okay, so I'm not going to change the formatting yet, not yet, because I want to make sure I identify each one of them. So what I'm going to do is that I'd rather make it bigger so that I can see. Okay, so take note that fatalities are 2 of them, lost time injuries are 2 of these entries, like that. Okay, so what I have to do next is that I need to sum up each of them, right? So I need to insert additional columns for, I need to make sure that I introduce a sum function, but let's see where are they. So we have the fatalities. We have fatalities here, so I could just use this without having to tamper with it, right? Because I want to be careful. I don't want to tamper. So that means that this very KPI, we're not going to change it yet, right? So I'm going to use the equal sign, and then I'll look for the label of the cell, right? The cell that I'm going to be picking. What is it? What's the label? It's K3. So I enter K3. Okay, so from the formula bar, I could see that K3 plus L3, right? Okay, so we've inserted a formula for fatalities, right? And this must go all the way down. If I want it to go all the way down, I just do Control Shift down, and I do Control D, and that's gonna replicate all the formulas, right? And then let me quickly change the color, right? Because I want to make sure that every column that has formula has the yellow color, right? Now we're gonna sum up these ones as well, because he's tracking 2 of them. Lost time for the client and then the contractor. Later we'll decide whether we have to change the name or something, but let's keep it like that. Okay, so for LTI there is also a sum, right? So I'm going to sum it up, the client and then the contractor. So let's go straight to where those KPIs are. Lost time, so that's M3 plus N3, right? These 2 of them, right? And I hit enter. So the same thing, I need to make sure that it goes all the way down. Control D, and then I'll change the color, right? So these are where we are doing the calculations. Later we could choose whether to hide the calculation somewhere. We put it all the way at the end of the table, right? So restricted work case, let's see if he has restricted work case. So he has. Okay, so let's quickly do that. All right, so that is S3, X3 plus T3. Okay, I do the same thing, right? And then I change the color. So these are where all the calculations are. And then the next is medical treatment, right? Medical treatment case. So basically these lagging indicators is not just one parameter, but it's actually client and contractor. And this section is going to be for all the various sites that are reporting these set of KPIs, right? Because every site has contractor and the client. So you can see that this database is wide in scope, both vertical and horizontal. All right, so we want to make sure that we are accommodating all of them in a structure that makes it easy to build a continuous database, not moving from one sheet to the other. Okay, so medical treatment case, I'll just insert the equal sign, and I come to medical, right? So that is O3 plus P3. Okay, and then to move very fast, I do Command Shift down. I hold all of them, right? I do Control D, and I change the color because there's a formula in there. The next is okay, so we are done with fatality, lost time, medical treatment, restorative case, reportable. So they have reportable injury, reportable, right? So every company may have their own unique KPIs they have. So let me just make another entry here for total reportable. Okay, I don't know if it is recordable that they're talking about. Recordable, as we all know, is fatality, lost time injury, medical and restorative work case, right? But perhaps that is the same thing that they have in here, and maybe I should just make it exactly, because it's the same, basically it's the same. Reportable, recordable, they're all the same, right? So this is going to account for this already. We've already done that. If I double click on this, it's already accounting for it. So we've already addressed that entry. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so first aid case, right? First aid injuries, right? So I just have to come to first aid, Later we'll decide whether we keep the same terminologies, right? Because is here as first aid case, this is first aid injuries, right? So I come here and then I look at, okay, so that can be found at U3. So today what we are doing here is that we're trying to get a structure right. We need to get a structure right before we can go ahead to do some analysis. And basically it's not really analysis, but we'll go ahead to do all the, dashboard, the chart, the various reports and things like that. Because if you don't get a table right, it means that we are limited. Just like how the template came originally, it looks very limited. You need to move across worksheets to keep adding data and things like that. And then after the end of the year, you need to file the whole template elsewhere and then create another copy. That doesn't augur well for building. It doesn't augur well for organizational learning, right? Because you need to build database of all the incidents, all the things that are happening, all the key performance indicators, so that you can have yearly statistics trend, right? Statistics that spans across multiple years. Okay, so we've been able to, basically work on. So let me just keep the colors consistent, right? It has to be the same. I want everything to be the same, especially where we have the, the calculations, right? The next thing we're gonna go is okay, I think we are done. Lost time, medical treatment reportable, restored case, first aid, injuries, lost time injury. We have lost time injury. Okay, I think I've captured lost time injury already, right? So let's see. Lost time is coming from where? Okay, lost time is coming from here. So they have another lost time. That's interesting. So another number of lost time injuries that did not result in LTI. Okay. There's something that we've already addressed. So we've addressed that lost time injury without LTI. No, wait. Lost time injury that did not result in LTI. How is that possible? There's a wrong, KPI. Number of lost time injury that did not result in LTI. So there's somewhere I can come in and say it doesn't apply. So I'm just going to explain to the user that there's no KPI like that. Lost time injury that does not result in LTI. Every injury that results in lost time is LTI. Okay. So this is something I'm going to delete because it doesn't apply. And then we're going to look at all injuries, right? So when we're looking at all injuries, that is basically everything. So I'm going to insert another, column here to say all injuries. And with the all injuries, I'll just select, all injuries. Actually, you could account for all of them by just selecting all of these, right? So I'll just, in fact, if you're, okay, all injury will include first stage, right? So I'll just, that'll be total recordable case, okay? So that's BH3, and then first aid cases, right? So because these are all injury related, right? BI3, right? That is the total recordable case plus the first aid case, right? But we've not, okay, we did a first aid case. So the first aid case is here. So we're going to select this, okay? All right, now I wouldn't want to use the column header title because it makes it confusing. I rather prefer to use, the cell label itself, right? So that's BA3. So that's it right there. Okay, so all injuries are everything, total recordable case and first aid. So we've been able to do that. Now it looks like we don't have property damage, right? Because it doesn't have property damage in there. Okay, so good for us. There's no property damage. Okay, so I'm just gonna delete property damage for now. Also, they don't have the near miss. I think near miss would be a leading indicator, right? Because some organizations are tracking near miss as leading indicator. So for now, let me maybe I'll bring it back. Okay, so let's delete it for now, right? Let's delete it for now. Okay, so right now we have the data in there. Let me just now take my time and delete these ones. Okay, so we've been able to introduce those data in there. Now take note. Oops. All right, so we don't have anything on fire incident. We don't have anything on motor vehicle incident. I think we don't have. Yes, we don't have anything on motor vehicle incident. So I'm going to delete this one as well. So if you take closer to this, you notice that, okay, the essence of this template is to allow for continuous database, but we are going to make sure that we are accounting for contractor and client. And then again, we'll be able to register all the sites. So every month they just select the site based on the report that has come in, and they input the figures, right? We don't have anything for environmental support, so I'm going to delete that as well. So always contractor and client and contractor are going to be updated on each of them. And then the calculation is all here. So the calculation, I'll just try to hide them later on so that we keep the template very simple. And even if and again, this section we could equally do same, but sometimes we prefer to just let people understand what is accounting for the man hours, right? Okay, so now that we are done, let's have a look at the sheet. We are done with the lagging indicators. Now it's left with the leading indicators. Now take note. The leading indicators, we have the man hours. Man hours is actually basically accounting for each worker's input to production. We can equally call it a leading indicator because everybody must contribute, and that's the essence of accounting for man hours work without LTI, because we want to know which of the hours that are actually leading to safe operations every single day. So it's not really classified under leading indicators, but we have a section for man hours. Now, the interesting thing about this man hours is that we are looking at the various levels of staff. Okay, there's a senior staff. There's a from grade 1 to 4, senior staff from grade 5 to 7, and junior staff. And that sums up to the company personnel, and they are accounting for contractors as well. So it means that we need to structure our template accordingly. So what it means is that after we are done, we are going to hide a lot of these calculations, right? So I'll just insert additional columns because we need to account for all of these variables. Okay. So once we are done, we're going to keep the template very simple. All of these calculations is just for us to understand that we are connecting every single sheet that is relevant. Okay. So in terms of man hours, we're going to account for man hours for, okay, let's go back to the sheet and let's see where the man hours are. Okay, so there's the man days, man hours. So we're going to do that. No issues. I'm going to insert the columns over here as well. Any error that we get, it's not a big deal. We're going to fix it, right? Because we are doing a customization. Okay, so let's go back to the sheet. We are looking at for the man hours. Okay, number of personnel multiplied by working day. That is something I want to make sure that we are putting proper reasoning into this, right? So we can account for each of the workers, the total manpower for the month, okay, and then that will multiply by the working hours, and that should give us the man hours work. So instead of trying to insert columns for man hours, we're rather going to make sure that we are accounting for each of the workers. Okay, so we're going to put this here to account for the manpower because we have a calculation for doing the man hours. So let's just enter that here. Okay, let me try to make it obvious. Okay, so we have I want to make sure I can see it clearly. So let's try to make it like this. Okay, so we are accounting for so we need to know the number of workers for senior staff and various grades of the workers, because we're gonna do the same thing for the personnel. So it's instead of just replicating these entries, we're gonna just keep it simple, and then we can have a man hour and man hours column, right? Or is it that okay, let's go back to the original template. Let's see. So there's a section on personnel, there's a section on man hours, right? Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing. So basically we need to make sure that, so this section is personnel, this section is man hours, but we use personnel to account for man hours. So we're gonna make sure that we are accounting for the personnel, and there's gonna be like a total for all the personnel, right? So this section is gonna be total of all the personnel. Okay, so basically we are gonna use the function C3 plus D3 plus E3. Okay, so we have this. Okay, so the entry is supposed to be a number, not a date function. Okay, so let's put some dummy data in there so that you can see. Okay, so all of these entries, the format of the cells should be numbers. Okay, so we just make sure that the formula goes all the way down. Okay, so we have the total personnel. I'm going to change the column title as well later on. But for now, I want to be careful not to just start deleting stuff. We may need them. So just want to take my time. Okay. So because we are accounting for personnel, we can then reasonably use a standard, a standard method of accounting for man hours. Okay. So basically, the fact is that every site will have their own set of man hours. Sorry, their set of working hours. All right. Now let's bear in mind that in the other templates, okay, this very sheet, the person is tracking for various sites, okay, or various departments. There are quite a lot, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. About 20. Because it's about 20, what I'm going to do is that where we are going to be entering the various sites, I'm going to make sure that, it can go all the way, okay? Okay, so we are going to make sure that we can account for all the 20 sites, okay? So the sites are all going to be here. Now take note that if you enter anything here, right, this is assuming that's one site and I come to the target, I can select the site from here, right? They're all going to be here. So basically, we want to make sure that instead of moving across worksheet and things like that, we're going to make sure that all the sites can show. So that is what we did on our approved list. So we're going to account for all the sites here, okay? So basically, we have been able to introduce this, and take note that each site should have its own working hours. Okay, so let's try to make sure that the working hours are in there. So that is there already. Okay, so I'll just delete this. Okay, let's see. We are equally accounting for, that's interesting. We are accounting for contractor and then the company personnel and contractor. Senior staff summing up to this contractor. Okay. All right. So we're going to do another thing. Let me see the terminology again. Company personnel. Okay. So company personnel is going to sum up these ones. C3 plus D3 plus E3. Okay. So I'm going to convert this to a number format and get rid of the decimals, right? So this is for company personnel, right? And then contractors. Okay, so we have the contractors in there as well. So the contractors, basically, we are saying that, okay, so when you input the number of workers for this, these parameters, right? The senior staff grade, the other staff grade, the junior, that is the contractors, and then they're gonna manually enter this, and that should give us the number of the total, personnel on site. So basically, instead of now using this, we're gonna use this rather, okay? So this is gonna equal sign the contractor, which is G3 plus the company, right? That is F3. Okay, so the formula goes all the way down. So what we've done is that we have tried to make the work much easier. Every month, you select the site, you provide how many workers for the month for senior staff, the various grades of staff, the junior staff, that sums up to the company personnel. And then we have the contractor staff. And then we have the total manpower, right? Total manpower for the month. And then we can be able, the working days is basically the number of days that they have to work in the month. And then that's going to help us to estimate our man hours. Okay, so when it comes to man hours, that is equally based on the fact that they are trying to account for man hours for both senior staff and all of that. But is that really necessary? Okay, let's assume that is important. I mean, but we can hide them. All of these calculations we're going to hide them. Okay, so I'm going to try to make another set of entries. Okay, now whenever you make any entry and that in an Excel table and the columns, the names are the same, you see that there will be some numbers showing, but you can actually get rid of the number by using an equal sign, but by using a space. But we need to make sure that we can identify each of these entries. Okay, so this section is for man hours, so this section is for manpower, this section is for man hours. So let's try to find a way of differentiating it. So I'll just put man hours in there so that it doesn't look the same in the pivot table, because it's going to confuse us. So I'm just going to make sure that each of them, I have to qualify it properly that this is part of man hours. Okay, and then there has to be a total for the so we need to get total for this, the total for the client or the company. Okay, and then we need to have the contractor as well there. Okay, so what it means is that every month we are accounting for the manpower for these grades of workers, which sums up to the client, and then we are accounting for the number of workers who have worked in the month for the contractor, and that gives us the total manpower for the month. And then we are looking at the man hours as well, and it looks like they want to enter man hours based on a manual entry, but let's see about that. If they want to do it manually, fair enough, but we can use formula to do that, which means all of this man hours just like this are all going to be based on formulas. So this is something I'm going to verify with the user. It's not a big deal this after we are done. So this section is for, we could do a total as well. Okay, we have the total already. Okay, we have the total already. So the total man hours worked. Okay, I'm gonna now do that properly. It used to be based on, okay, all right, so I'm gonna do that. All right, so man hours worked will be the fact that we know the man hours worked for this and all of that, right? So it could be all of this. So that's gonna be okay, so I think I entered company twice, so I'll just delete one. Okay, so like this, like this, like this, and like this. Okay. Okay, so if I'm entering man hours, it's gonna be this and this. Okay, so that's M3 plus N3. Okay, so man hours for company, man hours for contractor. Okay, so that is a new calculation. Okay. All right. So we've been able to introduce those parameters. So we just have to find a way of hiding all of these calculations. Okay. So working days is important, but maybe I should bring the working days here. Okay, I should bring the working days here. So now we are trying to organize the template properly by bringing the similar items together. So this one, Monday's work, is going to come here. All right, so working days is going to come there. So every time you enter the month, you need to provide how many working days was there in the month. So we have the senior staff, junior staff, helping us to ascertain the total personnel, and then the contractor, and that gives us total manpower, which I'm going to be changing later on. And then we're going to see if they want to enter man hours manually equally, we can do that. And then both contractors, so if they are accounting man hours manually, obviously here should be based on a sum function, right? So at least they're all together. So just use a sum function, and that is J3 to L3. That's the set. I close parentheses. So this section equally is going to be based on, calculation. Okay, so we have been able to do that. We are manually entering here to get this. You enter there to get this. You provide the man hours, but if they want it with formula, we can do that. Okay, and then together with this, you get that. Okay, so we have been able to account for this. It looks a bit bulky, but we need to bear in mind that we are making it simple for data analysis. And all these calculations, we're going to shift them all the way and hide them at the end of the sheet, right? At the far end of the sheet. So we've been able to do the lagging indicators, the leading indicators. Now it's left with the leading indicators. So the leading indicators equally, we need to look at which ones are similar, right? So I just come to, where's the leading indicators? Okay, I'll just open the sheet. Okay, yeah, we have everything here. I forgot. So we've been able to take care of this. Now it's left for the training. How many KPIs for training, right? So safety meeting. I think we have safety meeting in hours. Take 5. So to be on the safer side, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to insert additional columns. It's safer to insert additional columns than to delete columns, right? What's going on? Okay. I'm supposed to wait for this to end. Okay, we are done. Let me save it quickly because it's dangerous for this to close and I didn't save it, right? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just insert a lot of columns, right? I'll delete the rest. Okay, so I go in here. Okay, interestingly, they don't have toolbox stock, right? So toolbox stock is always like a very common KPI for almost all the template that we develop, but there's no toolbox stock. So let's just continue with training, right? So I'll just do Control C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 KPIs, right? So I come here and I enter them here. Okay, so they are in here. Safety meeting. Okay, let's see. I think we have safety meeting already, but the wording is a bit different. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. About 13. So let's see, we have space for it. We can accommodate that. So let's go and grab it. Okay. Okay, so we have those entries in there, but I just want to make sure that I remember how they are related. Okay, so the first one is for training, and it ends with safety culture, right? Safety culture. So let me just let me merge this cell, or let me try to insert a row at the top. I'll use it for grouping them, right? So let me just group this, and this for training, right? According to their own terminologies. Okay. Okay, and then the next one is risk management, right? Okay, so we move on to the next, and that is inspection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 entries, right? So I'll just carefully insert additional columns. It is safer to insert columns than to revise columns, because once you insert column, you have the, you are free to do additional change, whatever changes you want to do, as opposed to correcting errors, right? So I'll just copy this. That is inspection. Control C. And that is inspections, right? Okay, and then what else? Emergency preparedness. How many KPIs? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, they are 4 in number. So let's make sure that there's enough space for it. Okay, and that is emergency preparedness. Okay, so now that we are done bringing the data in here, we need to carefully get rid of the rest, right? So the leading indicators, this one can be, I'll move it here. You're gonna go all the way to the end. It ends here, right? And I'm gonna merge the cell. So the leading indicators are up there, and these are the various categories of them. And then this section is the lagging indicators, okay? So these are all incidents. This section is for incidents. And then together, that is lagging indicators, okay? Okay, so this section is for man hours, manpower and man hours. So what I'm going to do is that I would have to hide all of these calculations to keep the sheet simple for them. Okay, but I need to get confirmation as to whether they want to, for the man hour section, whether they want to do it manually or they want to do it based on calculation. If it was based on calculation, then this is going to multiply by the working hours, which they will have to input here. And then that will estimate the man hours worked for each of the categories of workers. And then we'll estimate the total man hours, man hour for each of the categories, whether client or contractor, and then we have the total, right? So when it comes to lost time injury, once you register any LTI here, we need to determine how many hours, how many days was lost, okay? So I'll just try and find out if that function is still there. So we have registered LTI. Let's go. Where's LTI? Okay, we've registered LTI. That's right there. So that pops up for us to know that we need to enter something there. So that is address. Okay. Same with the other one. Okay. So we've been able to correct it. Now, what we need to do next is to make sure that we get rid of all the rest that are not relevant. Okay, so almost all of these are not relevant, but I just want to make sure that I'm keeping some of them to use as reference so I don't start from scratch. So let's start deleting. Okay, we get rid of this, get rid of this. We are going to do it all over again, right? So let me just delete. It's not a big deal. The fact is that this is not a replacement in kind. This is major customization. We literally change the structure of the template. So we're going to take our time and delete all of them. So we're going to have a lot of hash ref errors, right? A lot of them. Okay, so now we've kept the template very simple for our user, and this is something that is more intuitive, and you can build a database, for multiple timeline without having to really scroll across worksheet, right? All we need to do next is make sure that after we are done, we're going to move all the calculations so that it doesn't confuse anyone. Okay, so now we are done with the actual key performance indicators. Now what we need to do next is to do similar for the target column, or the target source data. Okay, so let's look at the strategy around it. It looks like we've literally changed everything. So what I'm going to do is that, except for the leading indicators, the incidents, some of them we had to delete. Environmental spill, we had to delete it. Lost time, medical treatment, all of these stuff, they are the same. Property damage, incident, fire, we had to get rid of it. Near miss, we didn't see near miss though, but maybe they don't track near miss. In case they track near miss, you can bring that in. Okay, so for now, let's get rid of the near miss. Let me just confirm from their sheet. There's no near miss. Okay, there's no near miss. Okay, so all right, so what I'm going to do is that I'll just try to insert some columns. And then we're going to take it one at a time. So let's focus on training, right? So training is this one. This is for training. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there are 6 in number. So I come to target and I need to insert them here. All right, so that's for training. Okay, so we change this to training, right? And then the next is for risk management. That is 11 in all. So I need to make sure there's enough space to accommodate that, right? Let's try to merge these ones. Okay, so there's more than enough space for me. And I'll get rid of these extra columns. Okay, so that is for risk management. So since we already have the KPIs categorized, that means that we need dashboard for each of these categories, because once we have KPIs that are adequate in number, we can create dashboard because they're related, right? And we're going to do for inspection. How many are they? There are 5. So there has to be 5 for me. So I'll probably insert additional, additional columns here. And that will be for inspection. It's over here. Okay, so this is for inspection. And then I would do this one, emergency preparedness. How many? There are 4 of them. Emergency preparedness. We already have a KPI for it, so I'll probably. Okay, so let me delete the rest. Okay, so we have emergency preparedness. So we've captured all the leading indicators that this person is tracking. So I'll just delete these ones and get into the incidents. So for the incident, we probably have to just keep it simple, not categorize according to contractors and all of that. So for the incident, I'll try to find out if you still have to categorize them like this. That's interesting. Setting target for both client and contractor. I'll have to find out if you really want to set targets for incident. The fact is that incident will always be 0. It has to be 0, but maybe they want to track. But then instead of tracking for each contractor, we could probably just focus on the main ones, because at the end, the ones you register is going to be in there. When the actual, you may want to find out whether it's coming from you, which of the categories. But when it comes to setting targets, it's all 0. So there's no need to try to create additional spaces for entering whether contractor is 0. So it's not necessary. The target is really applied for target KPI. So I'll probably explain this. The target is relevant for target KPIs because you can set precise targets to achieve. For lagging indicators, it's always 0. So by default, everybody knows the target is 0. So no need to put it in the template. Okay, so first aid, medical treatment, restoral case, and all of that. Let's see if there are other KPIs. So there's all reportable, all injuries, right? All injuries. Okay, so there's another thing for work days lost. From work days lost. Okay, so work days lost, that's something that we already have. Work days lost, man days lost. So they want to equally, that's interesting. They want to equally account for man days lost for both contractor and client. All right, but this one was based on all of them, everybody cumulative, right? But this one account for contractors. Let me do that right away. Okay, so I'm gonna, introduce the same KPI, but this one will be contractor. Sorry, client or company. Okay. So once we register, so this one is based on calculation. Okay, they will have to enter them there. So we already have it in there. The reason why I had to do that over there is because we are oops. The man days is very important. I don't have to get rid of the man days lost. Sorry, let's go back. Okay, I think I didn't change. Did I change this? Okay, even if it vanishes, it's not a big deal, right? Okay, so man days lost from LTI. That's the total man days lost from LTI. So I have to introduce another one also for So this one is going to be summing them up. Okay, so this is the total man-days lost from LTI. And that will be based on the fact that we are summing this also up. So this is the calculation that we are doing. Okay, so we are trying to find out the format that we introduce to change the color whenever you register an LTI. So this is for contractor, right? So contractor LTI from contractors will be here. That's Y4. So anytime we register an LTI, this must equally update. And then we do the same thing for this to check. So that is for the next one. That is company, right? What's up? That is X4. So let's keep it consistent. The name is WhatsApp. All right. So when we record an LTI, this one must equally update. So we need to input the number of days without LTI. So once you are registering LTI, all of this should update. Okay. So that is pretty much it. We've been able to work on the model for the building database. We've done that. Okay, so today's video was just about the fact that we are designing a structure that makes it very easy to work with. So this is basically the structure that we have now introduced. Let me see if we have missed anything for the lagging indicators. So we are tracking the these fatalities, but it is important we just focus on the summary, right, of which are these ones, right? These ones, I can delete them. So we are focused on these ones to be on the, so the last one will be all injuries, right? All injuries. So I have all of this there, is there all injuries. So let me just go in here and add all injuries. Okay, so this is the new structure of the table. This one is to build a continuous database of targets. Let me just increase this. You can go all the way down. And this is properly structured, right? So what it means is that you can list all your companies or your sites in here. All the sites will be populating, right? So let's just assume the sites. Let's make it simple, right? Let's continue with site 1 to 15 or to the end, right? So this is for multiple sites. Let's assume that they all have the same working hours. Now, what it means is that this gentleman can track all the sites within this sheet. So you can do site analysis, right? All the sites can keep populating in here to build actual database. All the sites for building for setting target for the year, and then that makes the work much easier. So all of these are now going to be various reports which are all automated. All of these statistics are automated. Okay, so I think that today we've been able to just keep it simple. Today we focus on the structure of the template. I don't want to go further, but take note that once we have deleted all of those columns and everything, if I come here, we need to just restructure this as well. So I just refresh all. Everything is messed up, right? So now that everything is all right, so once we have all of these showing as hash error, it means that we have some work to do to now, basically correct them, right? Because now we sort of change the structure, so we just continue with it. The other one is risk assessment, risk management. This one is inspection. And this one is emergency preparedness, right? Okay, let's give this emergency preparedness. Then I can delete the rest. Okay, so now we need to just make sure that we have enough space to accommodate each of the entries by making sure we unmerge first, because we're going to insert rows. All right, so when it comes to training, we have how many KPIs? Okay, Control C, we need to transpose. So let's transpose, but I want to count how many are there. Okay, so there are 6, right? 7. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Let me merge this because we don't need the merging. Okay, so this is out of the way. All right, so we have a total of 11. So I need to create 11 space for it. This is also out of the way. Inspection. Okay, that is 5 in number for inspection. We have I need to unmerge this. Unmerge that. Okay, so inspection has 6. I'll just copy this. All right, so the last is gonna be emergency preparedness. Okay, so I can just merge them back. Okay, so we have the lagging indicators, the leading indicators here. It's left with the lagging indicators, huh? So the lagging indicator, we are focusing on these ones. These are the most important, okay? Okay, so basically what we've done is that we've been able to introduce the objective. So this one, we need to give it proper objectives. Training is not just an objective. It could be improving employee, competence and awareness. Risk management is about improving control of work. Inspection is to maintain adequacy of existing controls. Emergency preparedness So the objective will be improving emergency preparedness, right? Now we have all of these targets and actual to help us to put context into this KPI for some insightful decision making, right? So we've been able to basically, prepare ourselves to start to connect them together. We've done that so we've put together the structure. This is the structure of the table now. This is the structure of the, basically the target source data. We can actually delete this because we are done, right? Or we should hold on. Okay, we may need it for other things. Okay, so basically today what we did was that we were able to, do the structure of the table. Basically, I mean the structure of the template. The structure is very, very important. So I don't want to bore you guys. I'll just continue. We will continue from tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, so this is something very exciting. We'll continue from tomorrow. We have a lot of way to go with this, but we want to keep this live stream very short. So tomorrow we continue. Okay. Now let's just have a look at the original template. Now take note that the advantage of this is that you're going to build a continuous database of targets for multiple sites. So you have all your sites in here. Okay. You can have all your sites. Let's maintain Shexel, but you can have all your sites. Site 1, site 2. It keeps going, right? So you can set a yearly target for all the sites up to maybe 15 sites or whatever. And then the same thing with the actual source data. You're going to build database for all the sites across various, parameters. And that is very, very simple. It makes life much easier. Okay. So we're going to continue tomorrow. Now let's look at the other templates. Let's have a look at how it was. So this is how it was before. And every year, every month, they have to, input data like this. And this is for 1 year, or it can go like that also. But they cannot generate dashboard and everything. So we are trying to make it very, very exciting and everything, right? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. The lag indicators was even tracked in another worksheet or in another workbook. You want a system where everything comes together. Okay, so that is it for today. I believe that all right, so that is it for today. Today we just focus on the structure of the template. I believe that you find this presentation more insightful. I'm just going to check to see if there were any comments from anyone. Okay, no comments yet. But then, so that's it, guys. See you again tomorrow. We're going to continue. All right. I hope that you guys enjoy this, and let's meet again tomorrow. All right, so bye for now. Cheers.